Brandon Aiyuk is playing for who next season? Man, the 49ers are in trouble. Welcome in to the Seth Floyd Show. And as I said in the intro, we're talking about Brandon Aiyuk and my San Francisco 49ers tonight. That is just one of the reasons. This Brandon Aiyuk situation is just one of the reasons I'm a little worried about this team in 2024. Before we get there, though, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's been pretty good. You guys have done a pretty good job. Those of you who've tuned in, thank you for doing that. It's free to like the video. It's free to subscribe to the channel. It's free to leave me a mean comment. Those are always fun. We have a really good time, so I appreciate you guys. You had the opportunity to help my dreams come true, being a full-time content creator and make that my career. Every subscription helps, so appreciate you guys. Videos have been awesome. Also, shout out to my my older bro, Josh, been crushing it with the edits. I looked thinner last time. I think I looked thinner. Thank you, Josh. I wish I could say the Photoshop you put me in of this guy looking all jacked. I wish that was really me, but at least you've given me something to aspire to, so appreciate you, brother. Keep it up. Actually, I had a comment from, I don't know if he's a bear, I don't know who he was. I don't know, but he commented and he said, "You're not fat." That was his contribution to my channel. Thank you, man. Made my day. Appreciate you. So we all, I mean, it's a journey. I'm going to try and get in the best shape of my life that I can. But also, I appreciate the positive feedback. Here we go. 49ers, okay? There is a lot of questions around this team. They're kind of first world problems, not third world problems, I would say. That's kind of the best way to describe what's going on with the 49ers right now. But the problem is as a 49ers fan, wow, I said why did I?
You could do so, you could.
It's how to say that. Why can't I talk? I'm just so juiced up about this. The problem is they have had so much success. Okay, they've been to the NFC Championship game 3 out of the last 4 years. Is that right? Last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, right? I'm losing my mind. It's been a lot. Okay, I'm remembering last year's against the Lions. Year before that against the Eagles. Was this the year before that was the Rams? Right? 3 years in a row. Yeah, we've been 3 years in a row. Sorry, losing my mind right now. Okay. Anyway, when you sustain that kind of success, there's really only one place to go. I mean, you can get over the hump and win a Super Bowl. That would be great. But law of averages says at some point you're going to come down. Okay, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm gonna give you a few things tonight of why I'm worried about my 49ers. Okay, I'm gonna try and be as realistic as I can. Okay, one of those things, big things, the biggest thing in the news right now for the whole NFL is the Brandon Aiyuk situation. Now, I want to say first, it's not that I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs. Okay, as long as Brock Purdy is healthy, they're going to the playoffs. Okay, I guess Brock could be healthy and Deebo, Aiyuk, Kittle, who knows if Aiyuk will even be on the team, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, everyone gets hurt, then maybe that's a situation where they don't make the playoffs, but there's 7 teams in the playoffs now. So that's not the type of coming down I'm talking about, okay? I'm just saying we've been to the NFC Championship 3 straight years, and so it's just hard to maintain that success, man. It's the NFL, but we'll see. My biggest, as I said, so the law of averages says you're going to regress. Law of averages says you've been to get to the NFC Championship game. Of course, it's skill more than anything, but there's an amount of luck that goes into it. There really is. And law of averages says luck is not going to be on your side forever. Now, they've had some unlucky things too, which we could spend a whole freaking year talking about some of the unlucky things, but no one wants to hear that. If you're not a 49ers fan, you don't want to hear about how unlucky the fan base is. All they want to talk about is how Kyle Shanahan can't get over the hump. And I'm gonna gouge my eyes out with my bare hands if I have to listen to that again. But, I mean, it is what it is at this point, I guess, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I'm tired of hearing about it, okay? So here are my 3 biggest things. Let's start with Brandon Aiyuk, okay? Let's start with Brandon Aiyuk. This Aiyuk situation is really starting to weigh on me a little bit because there's no scenario, I don't think, where Aiyuk comes back and he's as good as he was last year. I say that because of all this drama that's taken place in the offseason. Okay, we've heard about Deebo talk about his drama back before the 2022 season, how it affected him. And he signed on July 31st. He said the whole offseason it was hard to focus it was hard to not really know where you were going to play, and it just affected him. Today is August 5th. It does not feel like Brandon Aiyuk is close to signing. In fact, Mike Garafolo said tonight it sounds more likely that he's going to be traded than sign an extension.
I will give you stuff that's going to echo that for sure. Now, look, we've had the Patriots mentioned, we have the Browns mentioned, we have the Steelers mentioned, and again, we've had a return to San Francisco mentioned as well. There are multiple avenues in which this could go. Brandon Aiyuk has a huge say in it, as you just said there, Tom, with regard to the contract part of this, because no team is going to make this trade and give up draft capital and or players and not be sure that they have Brandon Aiyuk locked up for the long term. What seems to be clear is that if and when he is traded, and I would say we're closer to a trade than we are to him staying in San Francisco at this point, he is going to make more than the 49ers offered him. How much more? That might depend on the team that he winds up with, because it sounds like some teams have been a little bit more aggressive than others with regard to the financials. But Aiyuk has a few destinations in mind. One of them was Washington. He made that clear as he made the social media videos that he posted with his buddy Jaden Daniels here. We have not heard Washington and the Commanders bubbling up as of recently, as far as them being one of the top contenders right now. Those other teams that have been mentioned, yeah, they're in play as well. But again, Brandon Aiyuk seems like he is going to be a rich man once he gives the green light and once the 49ers have the trade compensation in place with whatever team they're going to trade him to.
The point is the drama is not going to end anytime soon if he's going to stay on the team. Okay, he's missed camp. I know, guys, I get it. Like, I know he's working out. I know he's staying in shape. That's not what it is, though. Like Nick Bosa last year, who probably has a more hardcore routine, workout routine and regimen than anybody, but he said it just affected him. Not taking live football reps with your team, especially if you're like a receiver, timing down with your quarterback. If you are not taking those reps, okay, it's gonna affect you. Now, he could come in, have a slow start, and figure it out along the way. That's possible, probable, but it doesn't even feel like he's going to be on the team anymore, which I didn't think was possible. I didn't think that was going to happen. Essentially, here's where we're at, okay? Essentially, the 49ers have made an offer. I'm just piecing all the parts together, but if you've read enough today, like, you know this is what they're saying. They have given him an offer somewhere in the $26 to $28 million range. And they said, if you want to play for us, you're going to play on this contract, okay? You can sign this contract. Or these are the teams that have made us trade offers that we're willing to trade you to. Take your pick. Do you want to be traded to one of these teams? They'll give you a contract, the money you're looking for, or all of them suck, by the way. Or you can play with us, have a chance at a Super Bowl, maybe make $2 or $3 million less a season. It's up to you. Or play on the fifth-year option, which doesn't even fill in the realm of possibilities anymore, even though it should be, but whatever. So that's where we're at. Now, the teams that are like rumored that have been going crazy these last couple of weeks, couple of days, it's really picked up starting on Sunday, was you've got Cleveland, you've got Pittsburgh, which kind of feels like it has the most momentum. You've got New England, which it sounds like Brandon Aiyuk does not want to play for New England. Don't blame you, dude. Who wants to catch passes from Drake May? He could end up being good, but there's no talent on that roster. He would instantly become their best offensive player, and man, no answers at quarterback. And another one is the Raiders, which I saw today. I don't know how real that is. Okay, I've seen a few different packages. Okay, the one I like. Listen, Cleveland, this would be a terrible trade for you. But as a 49er fan, if we're going to trade him, this is the trade I would want. And I think I'm in the minority of it, actually. Let me know. 49er fans, if you're watching this, let me know what you think about this. But one of the things I saw, or that Matt Mayoko floated out there, was the Browns give the 49ers Amari Cooper and their second-round pick for Brandon Aiyuk. Guys, I'm taking that all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Okay, I love BA. I love him. But guys, like, Amari Cooper, to me, is the same thing Brandon Aiyuk is. He's in that same class. He might not block as well as Brandon Aiyuk. That's something. He also is older than Brandon Aiyuk. But given the timeline that the 49ers are on, this is like a no-brainer to me. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in that train wreck. I was going to say dumpster fire, train wreck. I couldn't decide which one.
We're dumpster folk.
That dumpster fire of a quarterback situation over there. Deshaun Watson just hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. He's had like Joe Flacco, who had played well. He had PJ Walker for a little bit. Okay, and he's managing to get 1,000 yards back-to-back seasons in that situation. Imagine what he would do in this offense with Kyle Shanahan. Probably what Brandon's doing. Pretty similar would be my guess. And you're going to pick up an extra second-round pick. I would do that. All the other trade packages from other teams, like New England was going to give us picks and Kendrick Bourne. That's the rumor. No thanks. I love Kendrick Bourne. No thank you. Not interested. Okay, unless it's a first round pick. I guess your second round pick I would be interested in, maybe if you included Kendrick Bourne, but that would be like a throwaway piece. But New England fans, I'm sorry, you're probably picking 1 overall, which means you're probably picking 33 overall, which is first overall in the second round. So I would take that probably, but I don't think that's what they're offering anymore. Steelers, like, they don't have any receivers I want back. Alex Highsmith, I would be interested in. Doesn't sound like that would be on the table. The last I heard was they would take a guard, which I know the Niners' offensive line isn't great, but you've got Dominic Puni, who is tearing it up in camp, a rookie. You still have Aaron Banks, who's very serviceable. We still have Feliciano and Burford, who was kind of the GOAT, not in a good way, of the Super Bowl when he messed up that play in overtime. I don't think any of their guards makes us that much better. I'd rather roll the dice with Dominic Puni, if I'm being honest. But whatever. Anyway, the point is, it doesn't, no matter what happens with Aiyuk, it makes us worse this season. I think we're past the point of expecting Aiyuk to come in and do what he did last season. You're past it. He's missed too much time. There's been so much drama. Like, he is at the very least going to have a very slow start. It is going to affect him. I hope I'm wrong. I'm leaving the door open that I'm wrong. But I'm looking at Deebo Samuel missing time, struggled that season. He admitted it. Nick Bosa missed all of training camp. He had a not up to his standard kind of year. It was a decent year. Didn't have as many sacks. Was very good in the run game, but he didn't play up to his standards. So I just feel like this is going to affect. It's going to affect the offense. And then of course, if they trade him, like, it's going to affect you. Your offense is going to change a lot. The offense is going to look different next year, no matter what it feels like. You're going to rely more on Ricky Pearsall. I don't know. It just makes me nervous. Okay, that's my first point. That's kind of want to get out of the way. By all means, I'm recording this Monday night. When you see this Tuesday afternoon, like, for all I know, I could be traded. We could have a resolution to this. I thought 10 different times a day, I thought there was a resolution. You saw these accounts saying there was a trade done, and it didn't happen. So I don't know. But those are my official stances on that, and either way, it's not good for the 49ers. Realistically, I can't expect him to come in and be 100% effective if he stays. Okay. My other thing that is probably more concerning than that is Dre Greenlaw. Okay, Dre Greenlaw tearing his Achilles in that first half of the Super Bowl. Okay, golly, doesn't get talked about enough. It does amongst 49er fans, but on the story of the Super Bowl, nobody's talking about that. Guys, he was locking down Travis Kelce. He was having such a good game. And I think, man, if I'm being honest, I think it was the biggest factor in the Chiefs' win. You saw it start to switch when Dre Greenlaw went out. Now, there's a million other things, okay? I'm not saying they would have won with Dre Greenlaw. I'm saying overtime would have looked a lot different, though, okay? They did whatever they wanted on that drive for the most part. They had one glimmer of hope on that 4th and 1 where they went read option and Mahomes kept it. But outside of that, it just was bad news bears, and it was because we know Greenlaw on the field. That really hurts. You could see it too. The linebackers that were in the game, besides Fred, it just wasn't the same. It's hard to be put in that spot. I'm not blaming anybody. I wish Greenlaw had been there. So we don't know how long Greenlaw's going to be out. I've heard some people say, it'll just be 4 to 5 weeks. Other people are saying if he's back before Thanksgiving, that's a miracle. I don't know what to think. Okay, I know he's not going to be there at the beginning of the year. I don't know when he'll be back, and who knows what he'll be like when he gets back. His game, unlike a quarterback, which we've talked about, okay, like Rodgers or Cousins, Greenlaw's game is predicated on speed and burst and explosion and being able to keep up with receivers. And in the pass game, I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what to expect. And it just makes me real nervous, okay? That part of it makes me nervous. Now, there's answers. I'm not saying it's 100% going to screw the 49ers. It's a concerning. And if you're not concerned, you're lying to yourself. Because great, he comes back after 4 or 5 weeks, awesome. You don't know what he's going to look like, though. You just don't. And it scares me because he's good enough to be a dominant linebacker, the main linebacker on any team except for the Niners because he plays next to Fred Warner. And that's been such a strength of our defense. Man, that worries me. It really does, okay? It really does. I put a little side note. This wasn't my official point. I am a little concerned about Trent Williams at the moment. Trent, out of anybody, he's missing time. He's wanting some more money. Now, Trent is kind of the one, exception, I would say. If he comes in and misses a few weeks of camp but comes in, he's probably going to be fine. He's probably going to be fine because there's no other human being in the NFL that like is as nimble and fast and strong as he is, and he's just got to see his man and go knock him on the ground. He does that better than anyone. Okay, that's different than like timing with your receiver or timing with your quarterbacks, things like that. So like I'm a little worried with each passing day. I get a little more worried because I think him back into camp is way more important than Brandon Aiyuk. Sorry, Brandon, but Trent Williams takes massive priority over that in my eyes. I think as long as he doesn't miss all of training camp, as long as the 49ers are like, okay, we're going to let him miss the first preseason game, which he wasn't going to play in anyway, and then we'll start getting him in here, then I think you'll be fine. I would be pretty scared to see him miss and have a Nick Bosa situation where he's not even in camp at all. Okay, I imagine he'd be rusty for a game or two before he really felt like himself again, just as Nick Bosa was. And so that makes me nervous. It's something I'm keeping an eye on. He's 36. My guess is the Niners are like, look, we're not that worried about it anyway because we'd be giving you a ton of vet days off. Just enjoy your time with your family, and we'll get this situated once we figure out the Aiyuk situation. But just kind of keep it there, maybe in the back of your mind. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay, and then lastly, my third point, my official point, the Trent Williams thing was like a half a point. This is like the third point. Guys, the 2023 playoffs are like burned into my brain. The 2023 playoffs was an awful experience for the most part, for like 90% of the playoffs. Okay, we had this dominant season, and then as soon as we lost to the Ravens on Christmas Day in that ugly fashion, we never were ourselves again. Okay, I know we beat Washington. Okay, I know we got the 1 seed. The Week 18 game against the Rams, who cares? Nobody played. But I cannot get the Green Bay game out of my brain. We could not stop anybody in the run game. And Purdy struggled on offense. Now, there was a few reasons for that. Deebo was out, got hurt, and the rain, like whatever. Okay, but Purdy didn't look his best self. Could have thrown a couple picks in that game for sure. Got lucky with the rain. Probably hurt the DBs, not able to get their hands on the ball. But that worried me. Now, Purdy showed up when it mattered most and got the team down the field, got Christian McCaffrey in the end zone, and then Jordan Love made some of one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my life in a very crucial spot and threw it across his body, and thank you very much, right into the hands of Dre Greenlaw. But that worried me. That's like a scary thing to see Brock kind of, I don't want to say regress, but like look pretty human at that point in that game, okay? What's even more concerning is a week later, I remember shaking it off and be like, okay, we were rusty, okay, we had time off, like Deebo got hurt, the weather was bad, like weird situation, not going to happen again. We were at home for the NFC Championship game, we were going to dominate, and then somehow we looked even worse coming out of that game. I think the Lions in that first quarter were averaging like 11 yards a carry. If you remember, it was devastating. I could not believe it. Brock threw a bad interception in the first half. He looked very human. I think Brock made more plays in the Lions game. He probably looked better in the Lions game than he did in the Green Bay game, despite that interception. But he still looked pretty human. Not what we were used to seeing all season. So it got me worried. Like, have teams figured out something for Brock? Are teams adjusting faster than Brock? I don't know. Like, I can't get that out of my brain. That's worrying me. It's not the end of the world. He played better against the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs' defense was great. They had some good stuff for Brock. The line, there's a lot of pressure in his face. So honestly, I felt like that was his best game out of the playoffs. It about as everything you could ask for. I know it wasn't perfect. I know it didn't finish how we wanted it, but about everything you could ask for. But I'm worried. I'm worried. He's only had a season and a half. It worries me a little bit to think maybe these teams are going to catch up to him. And if Brock drops from, I don't know what you would rank him. Like the player, let's just go off the top 100 list that the players voted on, okay? They had him at 7, okay? Not his overall ranking was 28, but they had him at 7, 7th quarterback ranked. If you took all the quarterbacks, there were 6 other quarterbacks in front of him, okay? If he goes from that ranking, if he goes, let's say he really was, actually, somehow you could just pinpoint, yes, he was the 7th best quarterback. If he goes from 7 to 15, might be a little low, but what if he goes from 7 to 12, 7 to 13? Again, this is just like a weird hypothetical if you could just pinpoint it. But what if he does? What if he drops down? What if he still throws 11 interceptions but has 25 touchdowns and he only throws for 3,800 yards? Like, I don't know. Like, it's in the realm of possibility, and it makes me nervous because the last time we saw Brock was a a kid with a lot of grit and a lot of heart, but didn't have answers in the first half of either of those games. And then in the Super Bowl, he played well. He didn't win the game for us, certainly didn't lose it. Also, if you are a moron who thinks the Niners lost the game because of Purdy, I've already said what you are. You're a moron. You're a moron. You don't understand. You don't understand it, okay? I'm not saying he didn't win us the game. You can hang your hat on that if that makes you feel better. But he is not the reason they lost. He's not the reason Christian McCaffrey fumbled on the first drive. He is not the reason that they had a fumbled muff punt in the third quarter. That was a free touchdown essentially for Kansas City on the next play. He is not the reason Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles. Okay? Like, stop it with that. He was not on the field when the defense couldn't get a freaking stop in overtime. Couldn't even force a field goal. Like, stop. Anyway, I'm just saying Brock didn't play his best game, but he certainly wasn't the reason they lost. Okay? So that's just where I'm at. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. Well, not leave you with this. I'm going to give you 3 reasons to hope if you're a 49er fan, okay? 3 reasons to be hopeful for this season, okay? First, the defense. Now, the defense was a problem all year last year. I don't care what the statistics or the rankings said. Okay, we had a couple games against some inept teams that really boosted our rankings. But you know, if you're a 49er fan, you watch every game like I did, you know every time we played a good team, the defense was struggling. I'm thinking that Rams game, week 2, okay, Matthew Stafford at one point was like 20 for 21. We could not get a stop, okay? Against the Vikings, against the Bengals, okay, against the Ravens, we struggled. Obviously, Packers and Lions had their way with us in the first half of those games, so like there was real problems in those games. Now, Steve Wilks is gone, okay? Nick Sorensen is the new defensive coordinator, which people are pretty high on. But the biggest thing about the defense is, despite having Dre Greenlaw be out, is how deep the secondary is. Okay, so I'm worried about Dre Greenlaw being gone. Hopefully they can patchwork that. But our secondary is so deep, it sounds like. You've got Renardo Green added to the mix, Isaac Yiadom added to the mix. Okay, you have obviously Diamador Lenore's coming back, probably on his way to an All-Pro season. I'm calling my shot. He's going to be an All-Pro this year. He might win Best Player of Camp award. You've got Charvarius Ward, okay, Mooney Ward, who again, he was an All-Pro last year. You've got Hufanga coming back. Jair Brown is playing well. You've got Malik Mustafa in the mix. Man, there is a plethora, an abundance of riches at the DB position all over the place. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that aspect because the Niners have not had a super deep defensive backfield since Shanahan's been here. We've always relied on the defensive line. And defensive line, for one, was probably a weak point last year. Didn't help. Nick Bosa had an off year. I think Leonard Floyd is a good pickup. I think that's going to help. And Yoder Gross Matos, okay, coming over from Carolina, he's going to be a good addition. It sounds like he's making some waves playing as an interior guy. So I have hope there. That gives me a lot of hope that if the defense takes a jump and is more dominating and suffocating than it was last year, then it might offset what the offense is going to be lacking. Because I'm just expecting a regression from the offense. They could regress and still be a top 5 offense. Guys, they were averaging like over 30 points a game throughout the year, or pretty close to. So they could average 27 points a game, still be like 5th and still be really good. If the defense takes that step, they're going to be fine in that regards. But I'm just giving you reasons why it's scary. Speaking of players who might win player of the camp, best player of camp, this is my number 2 reason. Deebo Samuel looks like he is about to explode. Hey, it looks like he's going to be 2021 Deebo Samuel. Okay, he's coming in. You can see it. I can see it when I watch him run, when I'm watching videos of him. Best shape of his life. I need his workout routine. I need to know what he did. Can I get rid of this double chin? Get rid of some of these love handles. That would be nice. Hit me up, Deebo. Okay, I'll give you more shout outs on the pod. Hit me up. Let me know how you got in such good shape. Because he looks fantastic. It's almost like he realized during the draft, oh, holy crap. They're talking about trading me. You guys remember that? Those rumors? Okay, it's like, holy crap. They're thinking about trading me. I'm gonna make it to where they have no choice but to keep me this year and beyond. And I can't imagine Deebo wants to go anywhere. His career has been great, and in large part because Kyle Shanahan's offense is so good, and Kyle Shanahan has used him in so many creative ways that I can't imagine he'd want to go anywhere else. Maybe he's over the taxes. Don't blame him. Taxes in California suck, but I don't blame him. Like, I would want to stay. I would want to be in this 49er system. And it looks like he's doing everything he can to make that happen. So I'm very excited about Deebo. Very excited. I think Deebo's work ethic, his example, is going to be good for the young guys. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to be a dude. I don't think he's going to knock anybody's socks off this season, but I think he's going to be a reliable, who knows, with Aiyuk, If Ayuk's there, I think he's going to catch 30 to 40 balls somewhere in there, but probably some time he's probably going to have like 3 or 4 touchdowns and some big first down conversions. But it's not going to be like an overabundance of stuff. If Ayuk's gone, hopefully he can hit the 50 to 60 mark and, push for 1,000 yards. He probably won't hit 1,000 if he's only at 50, 60 catches, but you see what I'm saying. So it's going to be a heavy Deebo season, I expect, this year, and I think he's ready for it, is why I'm optimistic. And lastly, this is going to sound contradictory is the word I'm trying to say. Brock Purdy is my third reason why I'm excited. That's a little confusing because early in my reasons of why I'm nervous, Brock was reason number 3, and he's also my reason to be excited. And let me explain, okay? In the NFL, you're either getting better or you're getting worse, okay? There's no standing still. Now, Brock is going into his third year, his third season. Typically, your third season is the year that you kind of become what you are. Like people really see who your ceiling, or what your ceiling is, and it's kind of the year where you get closer to your ceiling. I don't know, but it's kind of like year 3 is kind of the make or break it year for most people. Now, good signs. In Brock's first year, he looked great. In his second year, he looked great. I'm just nervous that teams are going to catch up to him and he's not going to be able to stay ahead. But if he does, if he stays ahead, if he continues to adjust more than the other teams, if he just is in his film, which he's that kind of guy, and he just stays one step ahead of the other teams, I bet he gets better. So that's what I'm expecting. I expect him to either get better and throw 36 touchdowns, less than 10 picks, 4,600 yards, like that kind of season, get better, or he regresses because he doesn't stay ahead of the other teams and he throws 22 touchdowns and has 12 picks and has like a Geno Smith kind of season or whatever. So I'm not sorry for throwing Geno under the bus. Not sorry to Seattle fans. I just picked him there, but I mean what I said. Stand on our own business. But that's what I think. And I think if he stays ahead, guys, he's gonna get better. He's gonna get better. He's only going into his third year. So if he can stay ahead, he's going to look a lot better. And it gives me hope that we could see that. Because if Brock gets better, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for the team. It's just not a guarantee. And it's not like I don't expect him to do the exact same thing he did last year. He had a heck of a season last year. So it's hard to think, well, he's not going to get better. He'll just kind of do the same. It's just not how it works. Like if he's doing the same kind of things, he's going to get better. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but you're never stagnant. You're always getting better. You're always getting worse. And so that's where I'm at with it. He's either going to have an amazing year, really push to be like MVP type of season, kind of like where he was last year, but like even more, or he's really going to regress, come out as like quarterback 15 and people are going to be like, see, told you so. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be. I'm not so worried that I think the Niners don't win the division, though it is in the realm of possibility. I think they're going to win the division. That's my official prediction. I think they'll win it. Last year they were 12-5. Easily could have been 13-4. They lost that last game to the Rams when no one was playing. I think 12-5 is their top and could be like an 11-6 season. I think they're going to eke out a division title over the Rams. Last year we had it wrapped up in like week 14 or 15, something like that. This year I think it comes down to week 18. I think we're going to be neck and neck with the Rams. I'd be higher on the Rams, except for I never know what I'm getting from Stafford health-wise. There's also been some streaky times for Stafford where he hasn't been great. So like last year he played in 15 games. He missed 2 games, which is not terrible for him. 15 games. I think he went 24-11, 24-12. Something like that. Probably like subpar for what he wanted. They kind of had a slow start, and then they really came on at the end. And you all know, like I've said this on multiple videos, like I think Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFC. So I just don't know what I'm getting from him health-wise, and he can be streaky in a bad way. Like when he throws an interception or two, like he can let it get to him for a few games, it feels like. Also, Shanahan has just had Sean McVay's number. The Rams probably overperformed last year. They probably overperformed last year than what they probably should have done. Maybe they'll do it again. I'm certain they have a better roster. I think they made some good improvements on their offensive line. But I know they had a corner go out that they were kind of relying on to start. But I don't know. I think that the 49ers are going to win the division. But if you told me that whole time traveler scenario, coming back, talking to me, trying to give me his time traveling secrets, and says, look, the Rams went 11-6. The 49ers also went 11-6, but due to a tiebreaker, the Rams won. Like, I would believe it. I would believe it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we dominate. I hope the Niners go 15-2 and look even better than they did last season. But I'm not counting on it. I'm not counting on it. And we're not even talking about getting to the Super Bowl. That is a hard thing for me to predict. I have not yet made my official playoff predictions, but it is hard for me to just kind of envision the 49ers going back to the Super Bowl. Maybe the Super Bowl loss is still like a bad taste in my mouth. Maybe I'm still have so much PTSD from the NFC Championship game. But man, you want to talk about luck. Like, I don't know. The Lions shot themselves in the foot. We shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl this year. And I credit to the Niners and everybody for not giving up, for grinding it out and believing in themselves and all that. But golly, if Dan Campbell just kicks a couple field goals, it's probably the game. So I don't know. It's hard for me to see that coming. Lastly, I didn't make this a whole NFC West video. Cardinals, Seahawks fans, listen, I don't think you guys are going to be great. In fact, I think the Cardinals, you're probably going to be better than the Seahawks, if I had to take a guess. But sorry, that's my official thoughts on you guys, okay? Cardinals, you're trending in the right direction. I think you're probably another year away from really making a push to be in the playoffs and pushing for the division, but you're on your way, and you'll probably be in the mix near the end. Seattle, not that I think you're going to be terrible, but new head coach, you don't know what you're getting. You still have Geno Smith, who, guys, in my opinion, he's the worst quarterback in the NFC West, okay? I don't know how you can debate that at this point. I guess you could tell me that Kyler Murray is worse than Geno Smith. I would go Kyler simply off physical tools. They're pretty similar. They both have one playoff appearance. Both didn't play great. Kyler probably had a worse playoff game a couple years ago. But he's been in a pretty dysfunctional organization. Geno's had Pete Carroll, who really flamed out at the end. But, man, I'm not a Geno believer. That's just me. But I could be wrong. But I'm just thinking you both are going to be another year away before really pushing for the playoffs. And that's it. I got the Niners winning the division, but they terrify me. Not sure what to expect. Rams are on their heels. Brandon Aiyuk, please just make a freaking decision. It sounds like it's his decision, whether he stays or whether he goes. Someone make a decision. I can't. The not knowing is the worst part. I don't even care anymore. Don't even care. Just like have a finality. Is he traded? Great. I would have loved to have him, but great. He's gone. Oh, is he signing? He's back? Great. I just want to know because I'm tired of the every day refreshing the rumors and all of it. It is exhausting, and it feels like we can't get Trent Williams signed until this Aiyuk situation is resolved. That's what I got for you tonight. Guys, like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. We've been doing pretty good. You can make my dreams come true of becoming a full-time content creator. That would be amazing. Every subscription helps. Guys, I got to go. I got things to do. I'm out.